Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. 10 minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning, the 26th day of May, 2026. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Michlin. Thank you for tuning in to KSJE. We're at 90.9 FM over the air right here in San Juan County, New Mexico. In Durango, Colorado, we broadcast at 103.3 FM. And if you're listening to my voice from anywhere else on the planet, you've probably gone to our website to tune in. That's ksje.com, or maybe you've asked your smart speaker to play KSJE. Glad to have you with us this morning. Thank you for being here. Also, welcome to the folks who are watching me right now. The video of this program is streaming out live to the KSJE Facebook page and also to our YouTube channel. So we're glad that all of you are with us this morning, because coming up, we are getting an end of the school year update from the folks over at Bloomfield Schools. Got lots to share with you. Also, some of the work they're doing for math curriculum at Bloomfield. So stay tuned for that coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE this morning. Then later on, of course, we will be checking in with the Farmington Regional Animal Shelter. We'll be learning about some of the pets available for adoption this week, including that good-looking dog right there. Her name is Sarah. We'll learn more about her coming up today, 8:50 a.m. on KSJE. Next hour, of course, our classical music program, Roving with the Arts with Mick Hess, starts up just a little under an hour from now. And don't forget, we publish podcasts almost every day. You'll find them wherever you listen to podcasts, so subscribe and maybe discover a new local program that you may have missed recently. Or better yet, just get the KSJE Radio app. It is available now at the App Store and Google Play. You can listen live, you can connect to our podcasts, and much, much more. It's all right there on the KSJE Radio app. Outside our studios here at San Juan College, it's a partly sunny morning so far, 54 degrees at the moment. We're expecting another partly sunny day today with a high of 69 degrees in Farmington. Partly cloudy tonight, the low 54. Sunshine returns and warmer weather returns tomorrow with a high of 81 on Wednesday. Sunny and 83 by Thursday, 78 and sunshine on Friday. And overnight lows, as you can see, in the mid to lower 50s. I'll be back with my guests from Bloomfield Schools right after this on KSJE. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, your community hospital serving the Four Corners. With a 115-year history of improving the quality of life, health, and care of individuals and families throughout our region. When life happens, San Juan Regional Medical Center is here to serve everybody. Find out more at sanjuanregional.com.
Now back to Studio A and the award-winning Scott Michlin Morning Program on KSJE.
Back in the studio this morning with my guests, as I mentioned, from Bloomfield Schools. Joining us back here in the studio, Superintendent Lynda Spencer is here. Good morning. Thank you for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you for having us again.
You bet. Great to see you. Also joining us here in the studio is your math coordinator for the district, Amanda Akers, is here. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you both for coming in this morning. And we were talking before we came on the air this morning, and graduation season over with. A busy week for you and the school board, I know, to get to all the graduations in the district, right?
Yeah, well, we just have one we have promotions in the elementaries, but we Charlie White Brown and Bloomfield High, they graduate the same night.
Okay, that's right.
The same day. We had it during the day this year, so it was a very nice ceremony. The valedictorian, salutatorian speeches were great, and
nice.
I gave my first speech as a superintendent, and I'm proud of all the graduates.
Very good. Well, congratulations, and great to have that and see all those kids walking across the stage and achieving that great designation. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, especially seeing the kids that I knew from Blanco.
Right.
I like watching them walk across
from
the stage.
Just a few years ago.
Yeah, well, I was there 9 years, or 8 years, so I knew a lot of those kids.
Sure.
A lot of them went to school with my son. One thing that we had this year, we had a young lady got her Navajo bilingual seal.
Right, okay.
And that was only the second one in the history of Bloomfield High School.
How about that? Congratulations.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, always a great time to celebrate.
Right.
So glad that you were able to do that, of course, and as superintendent, and brought with you now some other things to talk about today on the program, which is one of the things that we want to start with is the graduate profile for Bloomfield schools.
Yes, so we're proud of this accomplishment.
Right.
This was put into state statute in 2024, and when I came to be the superintendent, I realized that we didn't have one completed, and so it's been a work that we've done over the entire year. We asked for input from the community, and it's, what do you want the graduates from Bloomfield schools to know and be able to do when they leave your schools?
That's the idea behind this
And
profile.
every school in the state is supposed to have one, and you need to have one to apply for certain grants and stuff.
Got
and
it.
Things like that. So
Sure.
once we got the words that that were going to be in our profile, we asked the kids, the students at BHS and CYB and Mesa Alta, to just wrap their heads around it, come up with some artwork. How could we represent this? So on the left is the visual that we chose. This was actually a pencil sketch drawn by a student.
Wow.
And I was really impressed with the bobcat and the bob kittens, and just the attention to detail that he put into this. So
very much, and I always tell people, if you're not watching the show on the video stream, you're missing out because you're not seeing this great artwork. But if you were listening on the radio, make a note to watch the video on YouTube or Facebook later on today. But
so
it looks great.
We gave the picture to the CAD teacher at the high school, and he put the colors in it.
Nice.
And he did a really great job. So we had 3 different choices, and we let the public vote, and this is the profile that won.
Okay.
On the right-hand side, that was also developed by a student at CYB. So we'll have the bobcat on the front and the writing on the back. We're going to make a bunch of vinyl copies and get them in the schools and get them in the boardroom.
Nice.
But I'm very pleased with how this turned out.
Very good. And so what we're seeing, of course, are then 6 different areas, I guess, of what you'd like the Bloomfield schools graduate to achieve during their time in the school district, I guess, right?
Yes. And I can't read those, but you might want to read them.
Right. There's a little small print. I will read them for
Okay,
you, but we'll
thank
go
you.
over them, you bet. But first is academic power and problem solving. Second is respect, kindness, and inclusion. Number 3 is financial freedom and future readiness, I think is what that means, right?
Yeah.
Number 4 is resilience and the growth mindset. Number 5 is belonging and community connection. And number 6 is self-management and personal well-being. Well, that sounds like a pretty well-rounded student to me, if you have all those things, right? I guess that's the idea.
And that'll guide the board's, the staff and the board's decisions on what courses we're going to offer, what we want the kids to take as they go up through their time in Bloomfield schools. So, and the community, they gave all the input on this. So that's what our community wants our graduates to know and be able to do.
Very good. And this, of course, was discussed, I'm sure, with the school board, and they gave you probably some input, too. And you have all this, and this is going out not just to the high school, but it goes to all schools?
All schools, and and it was approved by the board at the last board meeting. So this is our graduate profile.
Okay. Very good. Well,
it's been a work of love.
I bet, right? Well, and lots of input, too.
Lots of input from the community.
Which is great. So, very good. Well, congratulations on getting that done. And that, as you said, opens the doors maybe to some new grant opportunities for the district now that you have that in place. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very good. Well, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about math. Not my best subject in school, but this is something that you are working on with the district and elsewhere, and using kind of what's been working out in Blanco for kind of as a pilot for some of these programs.
Absolutely. We've been working with the Math and Science Academy with the Lannel Foundation at Los Alamos.
Right.
And we've been working on being more exploratory with math and having students really deeply engaged in rich tasks. So like basically working on problem solving.
Sure.
And then also building their number sense, really being flexible and fluent with numbers and how numbers relate to each other. And
And these are
Yeah.
younger students. Pardon me for interrupting,
Oh, no,
but
that's fine.
but we're talking elementary age, right? So I mean, you're really
Absolutely.
targeting kids early on. So hopefully, I guess I'm assuming, you tell me if I'm wrong though, if they get these math concepts early, that helps them later on in their school careers.
Absolutely. Because if you build this when they're young, when they get to those grades and that algebra that really kind of stops everybody in their tracks, it won't seem so difficult. Because
My
algebra
heart's
is,
now racing when you talk about algebra, so I'm getting flashbacks to high school. But yes, I hear you.
algebra is just abstracting like relationships between numbers. And if you build a really strong relationship with that when they're young, then algebra is just like, oh yeah, that's easy peasy. So
Sure.
that's what we're really working towards.
Got it. And I guess, too, the idea, if you don't catch them early, then I guess it can snowball and really be a problem later on, too. If they don't get it early, then when they get to algebra, they're like, what is this? And what is my brain being asked to do kind of thing?
Absolutely. And it leads to a lot of math anxiety. And you can see that
Guilty.
right there in the fact that most adults, when I talk about the fact that I work with math or anything, their first response is, I'm not very good with math. I don't like math. Or I remember when math became hard. And that's not what we want for our kids, especially looking at that graduate profile. We don't
Right.
want them to have that reaction to math.
Right. And so Blanco has this vision statement that has been put out, and that's where you were working before you joined kind of the administration of the district, yes?
Absolutely. I got my grant and my position in October, and really what we're trying to do is take some of the stuff that we've been doing out at Blanco and extend it to other schools in the district. So I'm working mainly K-3, so with Central and Beck and schools like that.
Right. And I guess, again, it's kind of showing you've got data to back up what you're talking about, because you can say, well, here's what the kids at Blanco were able to do with this type of lesson. And so we feel that if we share that with the other kids at the other schools, we'll get the same types of results, or maybe tweak it a little bit, but you've got some data to back up what you're talking about.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And it was really highly interesting to look at this. So we looked at data from each classroom and what was going on there. We also have an intervention called the Number Sense Lab, and we've been looking at data from there. And then we took a nice longitudinal look at the data, the state data from Blanco over the years that we have been doing this math program, and the results are pretty astounding. They're not where we want them to be, because everything is a process and this isn't a magic solution.
Right.
But it is showing a lot of promise and a lot of good results.
Going in the right direction.
Yes.
Gotcha. And so this graph that you sent over is showing us what you're talking about, or is it a little something different?
So this is our first grade data. They are making very good progress. If you want to go ahead and go on to the next one.
Sure.
This is our sixth grade data.
Okay.
So we were looking at one classroom here. And as you can see on the data, and for those of you who can't see it, it's pretty amazing. We've moved a lot of students out of the lower bands. So on the left-hand side, you see how they started the year out, and that they are an average proficiency of like 37%. Then by the end of the year, we've moved tons of students up into that, and so that the average pardon me.
That's all right.
Proficiency is in the 53rd percentile. So most of them have moved up into being right where we want them to be, on target, and even advanced of where they were at the beginning of the school year.
Got you. Okay. And I'm following that too. So that's really amazing, right? When you can look at that and say, these are where these kids are. Still not maybe where, you want everyone to be, but it's heading in the right direction, as we have said. So
Absolutely.
That's important as well.
One of the things that we've noticed, or I noticed when I looked at the data for New Mexico, is that we have a lot of students that are really stagnant, that if they fall into that lower band, then they stay in that lower band and they never move beyond that. And so what we're really proud of at Blanco and how it's been working is that we are moving those students. They're not up there yet, but they are moving, and that's a really positive thing.
Right. And again, this is data from the 6th grade. You're working a lot with grades 1 through 3. So I guess is it your hope that with the work you're doing in grades 1 through 3 now, in 3 years or more, these numbers will be much improved because of the work they're getting at the earlier grades?
Absolutely. And as we go on, we can see that really did happen, is that we've been moving them along, and that they are making great gains by the time they hit 6th grade.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm going to go forward. Go ahead.
We've been doing this work with grades 1 through 6 at Blanco for the last 5 years.
Okay. So you've got some historic data, I guess, to work on,
Yes,
right?
and
Work
she'll
with.
go over that longitudinal data with cohorts.
Gotcha.
But next year I'm hiring another coordinator, and he's going to be working at Nabaani with 4-6. So
Okay.
that she'll still be working with primary.
Sure.
But my Dan Tabor, he's going to be my math coordinator. He'll be working with the intermediate grades.
Okay. So kind of this similar kind of work at that school in the higher grades.
Yes.
To keep moving them into as they get to high school. Gotcha. So tell me, if you want to talk about this one, we can, and we can keep going. You tell me where we're.
This
what
is
you'd
our
like to-
intervention, and so we looked at different types of data to kind of give a round picture, because really when you set goals, you want to see all different stages of their growth. So this is our intervention, and you can see that it's moved students to be more flexible with their operations. So this is just addition, where they started the pre-test and where they stopped, and how many different ways that they could solve a problem. So it's added a lot of flexibility to our students, so they're not working with one algorithm or one tool or one way to solve problems.
Got it. More green is good.
Yes,
on these
absolutely.
things, right?
Yeah.
And giving them maybe some more tools or more ways to figure out a problem. I guess it doesn't have to be just one solution, one way. There's always the right answer, but there can be different ways to get there.
Absolutely, and that's really what we want, is we want them, because when they get on those tests and that tool fails them, we want them to have, oh, I can change paths, I can look at it this way, I can do it this way, and then they're not stuck, and they're not frustrated, and they're not giving up.
Right, which is really important as well. Again, here's another set of graphs as well, and same type of thing on this one, right?
Absolutely. This is the subtraction, where the other one was the addition, and we see that we're still having to work on that, and I love working with the teachers out of Blanco. The minute they saw this data, they were like, oh, well, we could do this, or we could add that, and they're developing a lot of professional flexibility, and that's really what we want for the district as well, is to go, oh, well, here's what I can do, or resources I can pull from, and everything.
Sure. And I guess that's really important, too, to make sure the teachers feel they have some buy-in and have some understanding as to what the numbers are and where they're going with the data, since they're kind of at the front line in the classroom. It's really the teachers who are helping to implement some of these things.
Absolutely. And what we want is for teachers to feel a lot of self-efficacy, like, oh, I know when I see this problem, this is what I can do. And
Right.
that's a big thing.
Sure. Very good. Oop, I skipped through that one. The longitudinal data. Longitudinal data. You were talking about that earlier, right? And so what are we seeing here?
So this is the 2021 cohort. So we mapped how they did, that when they were in 3rd grade was the year that we reached out
Right.
to the MSA and said, this is not working, this is unacceptable, we don't have what we want in math, we need help. And so then we mapped the data from that till their 6th grade. So these kids only got 3 years of this intervention. And mostly our intervention when we started was just number talks and building that flexibility and fluency and different ways to solve problems. And you can see by the end, when they get to 6th grade, there is much movement out of that lower band and up into on grade level and above.
Right. Looking at less red, more green, and even blue now has shown up, which is advanced for our audience who are watching. And there's 0 blue in that first year for the 3rd grade, right? And then we see it kind of start to grow with some of these interventions, I guess.
Absolutely. And by the time they get to 6th grade is when they start hitting those abstracting concepts, taking some of those operations that they learned in the lower grades and going, okay, now if we take the numbers out of this, like how can we just play with these relationships? And that's where you start seeing a lot of drop off from students, because they start hitting that, I don't know how to do it with numbers, so I don't know how to do it without numbers. And what we can see is it's working greatly, because that not only fell, the red not only fell, but they're moving up into green, meaning they're making that jump from direct numbers and direct operations to more abstract concepts like ratios and proportions and statistics and probability. And
right.
So that's huge.
Very true. And if you add the green and blue together, I mean, that's also fairly significant, right? That's almost half that you're talking about. So I think that's a good trend as well, right? So,
yes.
Very, very good. Here's another one here. And so this is some other, go ahead.
So these are the kids I mapped. These were the 2 cohorts that we have the state data for all 4 years that they were at Blanco. And as you can see, every group of kids is different, and every group of kids is got their own personalities and their own quirks. But when you look at them longitudinally, even though this group was lower when they came in, you're looking with the yellow, the green, and the red by the time they hit 6th grade. That's remarkable growth. From like 63 to 37% in that lowest band is
right.
We worked hard with those kids, and it shows that this works for all kinds of students.
Yeah, that red is less than half of where you started, and so that's what you're showing us, and so that's amazing. And again, it's great data to be able to then say, and I'm sure it's an easy sell maybe to the superintendent and to the board to say, this is how we're doing in this school. Let's expand it to our other schools and our other students. And that's kind of the idea, I guess, right? Yeah. Very, very good. Okay. Moving on. I know we don't have time to talk about all the graphs that you sent me. So if there's something you want to skip to get to something.
If you want to skip, this is kind of just the 2 areas that we were looking at the most, or that we focused on the most.
All right. Tell me when you want to stop. This one?
No, keep
going.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. What are we looking at here? This equity growth.
So, one thing that I wanted to show in this one is that we're still moving. So we hit this beautiful growth the year before, and even though this year's data has had less growth, we're still seeing a lot of movement out of those lower bands. So no matter what we're doing, we're still moving students towards greater proficiency. We're following those steps along.
Gotcha. So what we see on the left-hand side is the school year 23-24, and then on the right is 24-25.
Correct.
Is what we're looking at, and that's the latest for the data that you have. So I see. And is again the red, the novice red part of each graph is decreased by about 5%. So very good. Okay. Gender gap?
Oh, yes. This makes my heart very happy. So when I started, and often you hear that, girls are less good at math than boys, or the general belief. And I've taken a lot of attitudinal as a 4th grade teacher. How do you feel like you did at math? And I always get little girls in my classroom who are like, I'm not so good at math. I'm not very good at math. And it makes my heart very happy to see that what we've been doing at Blanco you can see that in 22-23, we had an 11-point difference in proficiency between girls and boys at math. And following that along to 23-24, we shortened that gap to 5 points between them. And this year, when our data came in, we have 1 point of proficiency difference between girls and boys. It opens up a lot of equity, and having discussion,
Right.
ladies feel like their voices
That's
are
right.
heard, and that they are just as good as
Right.
boys in math, and that's
Very
precious and wonderful.
And for yourself as the math coordinator, do you feel maybe that you're also a role model for young girls in the schools, because you're a woman who's good at math? So do you feel like you could be a role model in some cases?
Absolutely, but it's less about me being a role model and more about this allowing them to find their inner confidence and going, I see that you are doing it. I see that it's important to you, but I can do it, and finding it within themselves. And I have a lot of anecdotal data on that where young ladies are going, oh no, it's great. And I'm walking down the halls and I hear young ladies behind me going, well, let's reason about what time it is. And they're having good discussions about, well, if this is this and that is that, then, it must be this. And they're having those math conversations amongst each other. And that's what I want to hear from my students.
Right. You can almost hear those little brains calculating and figuring out what they're talking about, which is great. Okay, very good. We have about maybe 5 minutes remaining this morning, so you let me know where to stop here if you want to keep going here.
I can talk about these very quickly.
Sure.
So what we're seeing here is we're working really, and I pulled this from NM Vistas, which is a site that tracks state testing data year to year.
From all districts?
From all districts.
Yes. Okay.
And we're looking at, even though we had that drop this year, we're seeing that our Hispanic students maintained higher growth than our white students. So we're moving that subpopulation along, and they're feeling really confident in their learning.
Nice. And that's a significant portion of the Bloomfield students, right? So,
absolutely.
So that's important to see how they're doing, for sure. Very good. Socioeconomic,
we are creating the gap between our socioeconomic is ping-ponging around, but you can see that even though it's ping-ponging, that growth that they're seeing is staying higher than their non-disadvantaged counterparts, and that is a very excellent thing to have that group make that kind of growth.
And so again, you're working to get those bars even?
Yes.
That's kind of what you're hoping to. So the less of a gap, the better for both sets of students.
Absolutely.
They're performing equal to each other, I guess.
Yes.
Got it. Very good. All right. And disabilities, students with disabilities?
I am so proud of our school and this, because our students with disabilities had maintained a 10% growth and a 10% proficiency. This year we've seen that double to 20%, and it's not where it should be, and it's not where we want it to be. But the fact that they moved is amazing, and the fact that we want them to get even further is why this is one of our goals out at Blanco, is we're focusing on making sure that we're making even more parity for our students with disabilities.
Right. Wonderful. Very good. Well, again, congratulations. And then you have your English language learners again.
This one's just a goal. Some of it is offset that we have our English language learners move in and move out. But what we really want to do is, this was in here because we want to focus on making sure that they have language parity. We're focusing on vocab and all of that, and making sure, because when you make goals for the school and when Blanco looks at data, they go, okay, so we see that this group here is still struggling. So we want to make sure that there's a goal there to focus on them, to make sure that they are getting the same equality, same parity as all of the other groups.
Got it. Very good. All right. Just a couple of minutes remaining here. So can we talk about goals real quick?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you the reason that says proposed is because we are a very community-based. And so we're proposing these as math leaders at our school, but we're going to take them back and have them really looked at by all of the teaching staff, because that's really, if we don't have everybody on board, then it's really not useful, because otherwise it's top down, and we don't do a lot of top down at Blanco. We do a lot of everybody shared, because these are all our kids, first through sixth.
Okay. Very good. And so number one is number sense.
Absolutely. This is still a big push for us, because we're still seeing that there's a drop in our student data between third and fourth. So we know that kids are still struggling to take those numbers and extend them into multiple digits, and that's we don't want to drop the ball there.
Got you. Problem solving is number 2, and this is for Blanco and other schools, or just Blanco?
This is for Blanco, but
goals for them.
But honestly, this is going to be a district one because of the curriculum that we adopted.
Okay.
The curriculum that we adopted is a lot more, both in K4 and 5-8, that is a lot more problem-based, and getting to those rich tasks and having everybody in your classroom really investigate and explore math concepts more openly. So while it is still a goal for Blanco, it is going to be a goal for the district as well.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. And this big goal, small steps?
Everything is a process, and everything, like Lynda was saying, we've been doing this for 5 years, and you can see that we're still developing goals. We're still looking. We're never going to be right where we want to be. We're always going to be looking. So we have big overarching visions and big overarching goals, but we really want to take small steps to get there, because then everybody feels the momentum and the progress, and we can measure that we're moving along the path that we want to be.
Sure. Well, and again, as we talked about and showed with the data, you're heading in the right direction. I imagine parents and grandparents and guardians can also play a role in some of these things too, by, I guess, encouraging kids to study and get the homework in and do some of these things that they're learning in school to keep those skills fresh.
Absolutely, and
especially with summer now, we've got no schools out from summer, so.
And we want to include those families, because we know that school is a part of a kid's life, but not all of a kid's life, and so we want to be pulling that community in as well. And I know that we're always racking our brains about how can we pull more guardians, more parents in to feel comfortable with math and comfortable with their students' math.
Sure, very true. Well, and I guess, at some point, maybe some parents may feel that their kids are better at math than they are, because maybe their skills are a little rusty from when they were in school, and maybe they're bringing home some newer concepts that they're doing well with, and that's great. But I think it's a really important part that parents play an important role in encouraging their kids and their schoolwork and things like that. So that's good to see. Ms. Spencer, I mean, this is exciting to see kind of these trends, right, for your kids at Blanco and then elsewhere too.
It's just, I'm super proud of Amy and the whole staff at Blanco, because I left them last year to become superintendent, and they didn't miss a beat. They just kept the process going. It's a continuous improvement model to help all kids feel good about math, and that's our goal. It's really nice to know that the work that we did and that I led at Blanco is having such an impact, and that I have people who can continue the work. The work is not easy, and you have to know what you're doing. So I have key people in place with Ms. Akers and Mr. Tabor next year. They have the knowledge and the skills to take this to other teachers and help them develop into help them improve their practice in math. So, and it's about equity, with the Yazzie Martinez. That's why they're tracking this data, because our underserved populations were not getting the instruction that they deserved. And so this is one step in the right direction.
Sure.
So I'm super proud of them.
Yeah, very good. Well, and great to see it in black and white and all the different colors as well, to kind of see those trends and what's happening. And again, to show that there's data backing up what you're doing and what you're planning to do and what you want to spread to the other schools and things like that. So it's really great for, I think, parents to be able to understand the reasoning behind some of these things that's happening in their kids' classrooms. And so,
yeah, because we hear from parents, well, why don't you just teach it the way I learned it,
Yeah.
And I understand, but when the Common Core came in like 2011, 2012, that changed, because we have to teach mathematical practices, and it's about problem solving, and it's about different strategies, modeling with mathematics, and so we focus on that, because the curriculum is different than when we were in school.
Sure. Well, and I think kids are a little different than when we were in school, right?
They
with attention spans and
all
the
the
other things they're doing.
Well, they have access to so much information, and they have to be able to handle all that, and they have to be thinkers, and they have to be problem solvers, and that this helps them be that. So I'm really excited to see how it's going to go next year. We have Mr. Tabor, like I said, going to Nabaani. We are hiring a math consultant to work with those mid-levels. And when we get back to the office, we're talking to that consultant to get our plan together for next year. So
very good.
Big things in math coming for Bloomfield schools.
Okay, very good. Well, we're just about out of time, but I thank you both for coming in. We'll give you a couple months off, Mrs. Spencer,
Okay.
but we'll plan to see you maybe back here in August.
I'll be back in August to let you know our plan.
Okay, that sounds great, but very good. Well, thank you both for coming in. Great to share with our audiences all the work that you're doing for students in math at Bloomfield schools, and have a great summer. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. You too.
You're very welcome. My guest this morning here on KSJE. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.